When we see this hat, this flag, or this bumper sticker, what do we know about the person who wears it, flies it, or sticks it to their car? We know their opinion on guns, transsexuals, and the state of California. We know how they feel about police, first responders, military personnel, and especially how they feel about veterans.
MAGA loves veterans.
Do you remember when professional athletes protested inequality and police brutality by taking a knee during the national anthem? MAGA was pissed.
This isn't over.
Colin Kaepernick became public enemy number one. MAGA's beef that in taking a knee, the players were disrespecting the flag and in turn disrespecting the men and women who fought and or died defending it. The veterans. The movement's leader, Donald Trump, expressed MAGA's rage.
Get that son of a bitch off the field right now. Out. He's fired. He's fired!
And in return for all this support, the majority of veterans have cast their vote for Donald Trump. But now, things have changed.
I depend on them for my health care. All those people that have fought in combat have put their lives on the line, and now they're being shit on.
Donald Trump has turned his back on veterans, and veterans have noticed. Across the nation, veterans have been organizing protests and telling off their representatives in town hall meetings.
I was proud to vote recently for the House budget resolution, which provides for...
The first wave of damage came when federal workers with the employee status probationary were fired, regardless of their experience or their performance.
I was terminated for my performance. I haven't even had a performance review.
The number of vets who lost their job in this round of cuts approached 6,000. That's enough to fill this hockey arena.
Oh, come on.
And then to further insult and question these veterans' work ethic, Elon Musk, the Trump subordinate who fired them, retweeted a joke calling them the parasite class. That's not funny. Next, the VA announced that they would be cutting an additional 83,000 jobs. And since 25 to 30% of VA employees are themselves veterans, that brings the total number of veterans fired erroneously to 30,000. That's this many people. The announcement meant that by September, a country music festival's worth of veterans would be unemployed.
You're fired.
And worse than a bunch of veterans being fired for bullshit reasons, the terminations also meant that the quality of their health care was about to take a nosedive. At the VA, they were ill-prepared to handle the cuts. Newly appointed VA Secretary Doug Collins attended several congressional hearings about the budget for the VA. Collins fumbled and stumbled and bumbled. He was defensive yet unprepared. Nobody was impressed. Senator Ossoff from Georgia made Collins look incompetent for delivering a 26-page PowerPoint rather than a comprehensive budget request. He also made him look stupid because Collins didn't know how many doctors, nurses, and dentists the VA planned to employ in the year 2026.
You have in your PowerPoint here $17 to $18 billion in cuts to medical services. Again, this is a 26-page PowerPoint to justify the budget. So, and this is the budget hearing. So who's getting fired?
And the secretary didn't have that answer. And Collins even had his numbers guy, Andrew, sitting behind him.
And I also have, I have my budget, Andrew, here as well, if there's the numbers that we need, if Mr. Chairman, with yours, the issue that you brought up.
But then when he kicks it to Andrew for the total number of physicians the VA will employ in FY 2026, listen to Andrew's response.
How many physicians do you intend to employ in FY 26?
Physicians.
Physicians.
Did you catch that? Budget Andrew's answer to how many physicians for 2026 is, This was on June 24th, just months before a planned mass layoff and reorg were to occur, and these two clowns can't come up with the number of physicians at the budget hearing. And this is typical of the kind of beatings that Collins took in these hearings. Here's Senator King from Maine asking Collins why the VA decided to cut staffing back to the 2019 level.
How did you choose 2019 as the number, as the target for your staff size? What's magic about that year?
Then Collins stuttered out some circular baloney.
Well, I think that was where you go back to the actual executive order, which we're following to go through to downsizing our government, making it more efficient and looking at it. And that was the determination from looking at a sort of a 15%.
That's the goal because we looked at it and said 15% should be the goal. That's not much of an answer, Doug. Then King brings up an important point about new programs that have been added to the VA that have increased enrollment.
19, by the way, there have been 7 significant veterans-related bills passed since that year, including the PACT Act, one of the most significant expansions of VA benefits in recent American history.
The PACT Act is something that Collins dodged throughout these hearings. He knows that the act resulted in a 33% increase in enrollment, which created the need for more employees. In watching all these hearings, one thing became evident. Doug Collins did not want to cut all those employees. He knew that a massive layoff would result in a poor outcome. But Doug Collins is just a lackey. And as he told Senator King, there is an executive order forcing his hand.
Where you go back to the actual executive order, which we're following to go
So
through.
now he's stuck being the mouthpiece for the guy who thought 3.5 million Americans over the age of 140 were receiving Social Security checks. The same guy who thought we were sending $100 million worth of condoms to a terrorist organization.
Condoms for Hamas.
Now let's see what the MAGA administration brought to the table to defend these extreme cuts. Collins showed up to these hearings with two big guns. The first gun Collins tried to fire was wait time data, but Senator Blumenthal from Connecticut busted him on it.
Are you aware, Mr. Secretary, that the VA changed the way it calculates wait times in 2022?
The information I gave you was as of our current VA system.
The information you gave us is deceptive and misleading.
Collins tries to pull a fast one here while playing dumb. His claim is that even though there has been an increase in staff at the VA, wait times have increased. The real deal on this is the way they calculate wait times was changed in 2022, making it very difficult to compare data from 2024 to 2021. The changes were made after an investigation by the Office of the Inspector General found that wait times at the VA were being miscalculated by an average of 12 days. So when Collins blabs out numbers, you have to keep in mind that we're expecting a 12-day difference from 2024 to 2021.
VA wait times for primary care rose from 15.7 days to 24.3 days. Wait times for mental health care rose from 14.7 to 20.4. Wait times for specialty care rose from 24 days to 38 days.
So it's easy to see that Collins is just playing numerology here. You could just as easily flip these numbers around and say all the differences that are less than the 12-day mark are a win and that wait times are down in those areas. That's not correct either. To really compare 2024 to 2021 would take some serious data mining and calculation, not this back of the envelope bullshit. And of course, Collins knew he was being dishonest. That's why when Blumenthal confronted him, he stuttered and stammered and played dumb.
The information I gave you was as of our current VA system.
Collins' next empty gun is about the VA backlog. The VA backlog has recently gone up because of the PACT Act, but Collins on several occasions bragged that they have already brought the backlog down.
And VA disability benefits backlog increased and was at 260,000 when I took office at the 1st of February. I will say that we have decreased it by 40,000 since we've taken office.
So let's look at this chart and see what Collins is talking about. Collins is taking credit for this jog down that began in January of 2025. But if we zoom out, we see that this is just a leg of an ongoing downtrend that began in December of 2023. If we zoom out farther, we get an even clearer picture. As we can see, the VA held the claims backlog to below 100,000 for many years. And then in 2020, there is an increase in the number of backlogged cases because of the COVID-19 pandemic. 2022, we see a downward trend because the pandemic is ending. Summer of 2022, we see an increase in the backlog because of the signing of the PACT Act. This increase also coincided with the 2022-2023 hiring frenzy at the VA. End of 2023, the hiring frenzy did its job and they're on top of the backlog and it is moving down quickly. This also coincides with the tightening of personnel. Since the spring of 2024, the VA has reduced their number of employees by 7,500 through attrition, meaning they wait for somebody to quit or to retire and then they evaluate whether that person's responsibilities can be covered internally. And this is a much better solution than coming in and hacking everything to shit with a chainsaw before you know who has what responsibility. Now we have all this information and we can couple it with the fact that trust in the VA is at an all-time high among veterans who use the VA, and we can see that this graph and this information clearly scream, don't fucking touch anything. Fortunately, during the making of this video, the Trump administration backed down and they have decided to take the Biden administration plan and run with it, meaning they're going to let the workforce reduce itself naturally through attrition until they feel like they have the right amount of employees. This is a huge win for everyone who got out of the house, went to the rallies, went to the protests, went to the town hall meetings, and voiced their complaints. But this does not let Donald Trump and Doug Collins off the hook. So when we see this hat, this flag, and this bumper sticker, we have to remember that these represent an administration who sent thousands and thousands of veterans into the streets to fight for what is theirs. These represent an admin that fights against veterans. Donald Trump fights against veterans. I'd like to thank everyone for their patience. I'm sorry this video took so long. It actually got way out of control, and it is now one of 3 about veterans. Until then, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and if you're feeling generous, there is a link to Patreon where you can become a paid member in the description. My name is Greb Kered, your ally in the fight against disinformation.